Hey guys, today we are going to read chapter 2 of The Realm. This chapter is called The Letters. We are going to hear Dr. Kramer's perception of his patient Celeste. In the previous chapter, we got to experience everything through the lens of Celeste. So now we get to flip it around and step inside the mind of Dr. Kramer to see his perception of their appointment. Here we go. June 6, 2012. Dear Jay, it's been a while since I last wrote, but I feel the need to tell you about an experience I had today. As you know, I try to keep my profession separate from my personal life, but the thoughts that have been running through my mind today warrant further exploration. I know whatever I tell you stays confidential, which is why I'm writing you about this matter. This is risky, but in my field, I am always doing the listening. So I look forward to these opportunities to be on the other end. In my line of work, there is only so much I can record in a patient's file to keep within the standards and regulations of my profession. Beyond that, everything is pure speculation, curiosity, and my own personal assumptions, which I must be careful to keep separate and private. However, I feel that by discussing these with you, it may help me shed some light on the areas I tend to overlook. There is a new client that came in today, and by all means, she is a very attractive young woman, which makes her story more compelling. You see, she has mentioned some bizarre experiences that open up an entire new area of possibilities to consider. Some would argue that a psychiatry facility might have suited her well over the past few years, but I don't believe that's the correct path. In fact, I have become so used to the typical abuse, depression, anxiety, and trauma issues that come in and out of my office each day that I was completely caught off guard by her unexpected afflictions, unexplained phenomenon, telepathy, and as strange as it may sound, psychic abilities. It pains me to say that I know so little about this area of study, which also fascinates me. I've been toying with the idea today of expanding my knowledge on parapsychology, which would of course make me a laughing stock amongst my colleagues. Because of that, I most likely will keep this under wraps between you and me. I can't afford to discredit my reputation by any means. Just like politics and religion, it's a matter best kept to oneself. Over the next week, I plan to expand on the details of my research, findings, theories, and conclusions with my new client. I feel that attaching a summary of my notes will help make the picture a little clearer. Because of time restrictions, I could only collect so much information today. Believe me, there is much more than meets the eye here. After only scratching the surface today, I am anxious to dig deep at our next appointment. I get the feeling this will be an incredible experience and has opened my mind up to a whole new area of study. We'll keep you posted, Walter. All right, so here is an image of the patient file that Dr. Kramer filled out for Celeste. Date, June 6, 2012. Patient, Celeste Day. Practitioner, Walter Kramer. Appointment classification, initial assessment. Appointment number 1. Purpose for evaluation. 20-year-old single white female enrolled in college and living with parents. Has been working as an intern at North Valley Junior High in an after-school program supervising troubled youth. Seeking mental health treatment per request of employer, family, and family physician during the summer break. Celeste has stated that her family and friends are concerned about her mental well-being. She has a history of personal experiences, unexplained phenomenon, ESP, which has led to others viewing her as delusional and fictitious. She has experienced some recent traumatic events, such as the death of a twin brother and a near-fatal car accident. Celeste has recently been treated for depression and spoke of a suicide attempt 6 months ago. Mental status examination. Results of mental status examination revealed an alert, attentive individual who showed no evidence of excessive distractibility and tracked conversation well. The patient was casually dressed and groomed. Orientation was intact for person, time, and place. Eye contact was appropriate. There was no abnormality of gait, posture, or deportment. Speech functions were appropriate for rate, volume, prosody, and fluency, with no evidence of paraphasic errors. Vocabulary and grammar skills were suggestive of intellectual functioning within the average range. The patient's attitude was open and cooperative. Her mood was euthymic and at times a little melancholy. Affect was appropriate to verbal content and showed broad range. Memory functions were grossly intact with respect to immediate and remote recall of events and factual information. Her thought process was intact, somewhat goal-oriented and organized. Thought content revealed slight evidence of delusions and paranoia. She did state previous suicidal ideation. There was no evidence of perceptual disorder. Her level of personal insight appeared to be good, as evidenced by ability to identify specific stressors preceding her mood changes. Social judgment appeared good, as evidenced by appropriate interactions with staff and by cooperative efforts to achieve treatment goals. Results of evaluation. Clinical interview revealed possible underlying triggers to anxiety, depression, and slight paranoia per incident as reported by staff member. Individual portrayed a very troubled past in which behaviors and choices were influenced by treatment of family members and traumatic events within her life. According to background provided by Celeste, her friends and family believe she is delusional and fabricate stories. I would like to explore this further. Summary. Celeste appears to have suffered from situational depression, and after reviewing her medical history, has most likely been misdiagnosed more than once over the past several years. Delusions may be an effect of the medications prescribed to treat her previous diagnosis. We'll explore testing options at next appointment.